hi again, folks. I'm Greg Flynn, the Public Information Director for the City of Pearl, and welcome into This Week in Pearl. On this week's episode, boy, we are stacked and packed for you. We're going to talk some high school football as it is back, and Friday Night Lights will be under the lights tomorrow night right here for the City of Pearl. We'll talk to head coach Justin Hunter and what the Pirates will have in store for us for this 2021 season. We're going to go under the dome over at the state capitol, and we're going to welcome in Representative Gene Newman and Representative Fred Shanks as we talk the Constitution and redistricting. Very hot topics that you're going to want to pay attention to. So stay tuned. We'll have all that and more coming up on This Week in Pearl.
Hello, I'm Mayor Wyndham, and I'm thrilled to show you the city creating its own future. Pearl is located in Rankin County, the fastest growing county in Mississippi, and there's no question why. Access to great schools, even better shopping, and unbridled beauty make Pearl a town that truly embodies its name. And with a truly exceptional team of first responders, public safety is another key component of our success. With fantastic housing opportunities from quaint suburban neighborhoods to gorgeous lakefront properties, there's a place for you here in Pearl. You can't beat the location. Right outside of Pearl is the crossroads of the South, where Interstate 20 meets Interstate 55. From here you can travel anywhere within the state or the country. Or you can choose to stay right here in Pearl to enjoy a Mississippi Braves baseball game or experience the small town atmosphere, community pride, and heart of the local residents.
All right, welcome back into This Week in Pearl. I'm Greg Flynn, now joined by the head Pirate. He is the head coach of our Pearl Pirates, Justin Hunter, and man, he's getting ready. We're blessed to even have him in here because he wants to be out on the football field, but he wanted to come in and talk to us about the season opener we have. It will be at Gulfport this Friday night. First, Justin, I know there was a lot of confusion among our fans, well, even within the programs, about how we settled on Gulfport this week.
Well, so we were supposed to play Gulfport in a jamboree last Friday night. South Pike called Wednesday. We're supposed to play them week one. Said they were quarantined, and obviously not much we can do about that. So we start scrounging around Thursday, before we play Friday, by the way, trying to find, a game for week one, which is, was important. We finally talked to Gulfport, and they're like, Coach, our week one is quarantined too. Like, well, we don't need to play Friday and next Friday, so okay, if we can find both some games for this Friday, let's play week one. We agreed on it. They do a thing very similar to the Red Carpet Bowl in Vicksburg. They call it the Port City Bowl or something like that. So they're like, Coach, I really need you to come down here. Obviously, we prefer not to drive 3 hours, but, I talked to our team about it, and just last year we struggled on long road trips. And I think it's a maturity standpoint, just a lot more time to play around and goof off and things like that. And we decided that would be best for us early season to go down there. They're usually the best team on the coast year in and year out. Really good players, good coaches. So we decided on that. And then Thursday afternoon, we finally found something to make that happen. We could still go to Petal and actually play West Jones, which, so there was zero preparation. There was zero this, that, whatever. That went into that, but it allowed us to be able to play a week one game, which is what our goal was.
So we're going to Gulfport Friday night. While it was supposed to be a doubleheader that night,
right,
and we were supposed to be game two, much like we do when we go over to Vicksburg, game one between Oak Grove and Harrison Central will now not take place because, Lord, here we go again with COVID's already affecting us. Because there's a COVID problem within those teams. So we will be the only game on Friday night at 7 o'clock at Gulfport.
Right, that's right, yep. I think it's going to be a battle all year. We thought last year was something, but I think the good news is we got prepared for it last year in a way. So hopefully it will not be as bad. And I'll be honest with you, last week when I get that call from South Pike, my anxiety was up here, just worried, kids work so hard, they want to play. They get tired of practicing against each other. It just is what it is. And we was real glad that it was able to work it out the way we were, where we go down there and play a good Gulfport team. And I think it's like I said, it's going to be a maturity test for our guys. And it's like also like I told him, I said, hey, when the playoff time gets here, you're going to have to travel somewhere at some point. So why not get some practice for week 1? You know, so I think it's gonna be really good for us.
Well, and it'll be a really good test as we kind of move into a new phase of the offense now. You have Jerry Johnson. Jay Bird is the quarterback, and let's put it all to rest. You've seen Jay Bird come in the past as his first 3 years where it's kind of a wildcat, but no, Jay Bird is a true pocket now, get in the pocket, certainly scramble out, but a passer. He is a true quarterback.
Yeah, he can throw the football. You know, he does some things out there. You're like, wow. You know, I mean, and obviously consistency right now is what we're working on with him. But he started playing quarterback not long ago. You know, and there's a reason why them dudes in the NFL make all that money. It is the hardest position in all sports. I mean, it just, you know, it is. But he's did a good job, and just he changes the offense from a lot of different ways, but definitely his legs. You know, I mean, get him out of the pocket. He does a great job keeping his eyes downfield. You know, trying to make the throw, but understanding he can run the ball if he needs to, and he's got a lot of freedom with that because you don't want to cage him up. You know, I mean, you want him to let him run, which is what he does well. You know, so we are changing some things and you know, just trying to help him out, and we feel like with him and Jamari back there, you got two pretty good threats to run the ball, and you know, them guys outside are just gonna make some plays for him. He's got to trust it a little bit more. The other night he got out of the pocket a little bit too much, but I think we got that fixed, and I can't wait to see him play Friday night.
Well, and we'll get to Jamari in a minute because he's just unbelievable. But, you know, for fans out there who they get to watch all the time, he's no Patrick Mahomes. Let's not do that. But your receivers have to be smarter because when Mahomes gets out of the pocket, or Lamar Jackson or anybody, they have to know when to come back, and they have to understand, okay, he's out of the pocket, let me come back and help him. So that's a learning experience for your kids too, right?
That's a scramble drill. We do it every day in practice. You know, we really jumped one on one of our receivers the other night. The first time he got out the pocket, he got pressure from the left side. He spun out of it, exactly what he's supposed to do. He's running to his left looking. There was a guy kind of in the flats, but he kept going right. Jay Bird was rolling left. So I made him like demonstrate with his body. Can Jay Bird do you know, he can't. So I mean, they have to know, but like I said, we practice it every single day. You know, we call it a scramble drill. Hey, this is the base play. When he gets out of the pocket, this is what you do. You know, so I think we're going to get a lot better at that going forward. Again, but in the past, we hadn't had to work a lot of scramble drill because we ain't really had the guys that we wanted to get out of the pocket. You know, we wanted them to be in the pocket. So it's new for those guys too. You know, it ain't just new for Jay Bird. It's new for the receivers and honestly the offense as a whole.
Boy, what's going to be exciting is to watch them progress, and as they learn each other, you know, by the time we get deep into region play, I think it's going to be really exciting.
I'm excited about it. I felt we had really good tempo the other night. At the beginning, I felt like the officials slowed us down a little bit toward the end of the first quarter, and in the second quarter we were not quite as fast. But I mean, we played a half of football and ran 42 plays with the ones. You know, got down there, you know, fumbled inside the 3, had a couple of huge 15-yard penalties that we absolutely cannot have. But man, we've seen a lot of positives and a lot of stuff that we feel like is real fixable, and that's what our message was as a team yesterday. We pointed out all the good and all the bad, and then talked about how we're going to fix, quote unquote, the bad. You know, the fixable. But super excited where we're at right now, and I'm telling you, I cannot wait to see them play Friday night.
And for all you fans out there, don't blink because they want to run a lot of plays.
Yeah, I mean, our goal is 80 plays a game. You know, in the last couple of years, we've probably been about 55. So we're trying to add a whole quarter to the game. We do what we call a fifth quarter every day at the end of practice. Just we're telling them, hey, we're adding a quarter to the game through as fast as we play. So we're going to do something extra. You can call it conditioning or whatever. We feel like we've got to be the most in shape team every single week so we can last 4 full quarters and run 80 plays.
And that's incumbent upon these big linemen. You've got them moving and getting up there reset because there's no time between by the time the referee sets that ball into play, that ball's being snapped.
We want it snapped and, you know, let's just be honest. Sometimes them referees ain't the most slender human beings.
Correct.
You know? So I tell, like, I've already emailed the guy that we have for this week, the head referee, and I was like, hey, can you give me any pointers to help you guys get that thing spotted? I'll help. I'll do what I need to get our ball boys to do. I said, we want the thing sit down and let us play fast, you know. And, of course, he's like, yes, sir. But, you know, if you get out there and he ain't exactly in shape, I mean, we just kind of at his mercy a little bit.
Sure.
So we're trying to help those guys out the best we can to make sure we can get that thing snapped as fast as possible.
Yeah, but don't blink. As soon as that ball gets set by the referee, man, it's getting snapped.
You better.
Jamari Thompson, the T-Train, as we like to call him, he is slimmer, faster and just really looks good.
Yeah, he's probably trimmed down about 12 pounds from last year. Definitely stronger, definitely more agile, definitely faster. Like he breaks some in practice, and there ain't no catching. Last year he's picking up 30, which is still good, but now it ain't nothing for him to go 70 in practice, and just look like he's rolling. So he had some great runs the other night that some of them wasn't even nothing there, and he just barrels ahead because he is stronger, even though he's a little lighter. I think he's going to have a big year. I really do.
Well, defensively, this is where you probably have some of the most youth, certainly up front.
Right.
But you have got some great pieces to build around in Jeremy Jackson, Tristan Carpenter, Jalen Nickelberry, and then your DBs have some good experience in, Marcus Mosley. So some pieces to build around, but a lot of learning going on over there.
Yeah, Jeremy didn't play Friday night. Tristan did not play Friday night. We fully expect to have both them back this week. And it's good from a leadership standpoint. Like you said, our two linebackers are two first-year starters. One of them couldn't play last year because of the whole COVID situation. Up front, Nickelberry was the only one that was back from last year, so we had some young guys. Justin Knight and Zaquan Coleman were rotating in at the nose. Braxton Kemp played, I thought, really well at the other end for his first start. Shoto, we moved him back from linebacker to safety. He did a great job coming down, tackling. Still got some work to do in pass defense, and that, again, new to him, but he's a great athlete. He loves it. He's going to do what he's coached to do. DJ Hudson was coming down, I thought, doing a great job running to the ball. And then you got Marcus Mosley and Justice Moore, who both started last year. So we expect those guys to be very consistent back there.
So again, for anybody that whatever you heard, about this scrimmage on Friday night that you didn't get to prepare, you were really shorthanded, you just wanted them to go out. I think you're going to see a huge, I don't want to say improvement, but you're going to see a more crisp as we open up this season to come Friday.
Yeah, we just got to understand that, this week-to-week stuff, you don't know who you're going to have and who you're not going to have, but, we're not the only ones in that situation, but we have to, if we're without one, another one's got to step right in, and he might not have got a rep all week at that spot, but if we feel like that's the next best one, our job is to put the best 11 on defense, the best 11 on offense, and then figure out where they fit in as far as position, So that's what we're trying to do, and again, we hope we're full strength. But if we're not, we're going to go out there and expect our kids that we got on the field to do exactly what the coach to do and play their tails off, and we're going to be just fine if that's what they do. So.
Yeah, and it's become I don't want to say a trend now, but your quarterback has become your punter over the last few years. And once again, Jay Bird's going to be doing the punting?
Right now, he's one of them. We have two. It depends on the date. I tell you which one's going to kick Friday night. Oakley Bounds, who's a 10th grader, who's a good soccer player. He is also the other punter. I guess the way we look at it, Jay Bird, if you got Jay Bird back there, you're probably going to get a lot more punt safe, which means they're not going to come block it because they're worried we're going to fake it. With Oakley, a little bit more consistency kicking the football just because he's kicked the soccer ball for so long. So, again, if you ask me this afternoon, I might tell you something completely different than I'd tell you right now as far as who's going out there with the punt team, which I hope we don't have to go out there a lot, but who's going out there with the punt team on Friday night. So.
Well, but just psychologically, I guess, for your opponent and for the fans. So if Oakley is out there most of the game and then all of a sudden Jay Bird winds up back there, that doesn't automatically mean it's going to be a fake, right?
No, not at all. Not at all.
But
it could be.
Not that you ever faked it and stuff like that, but that's exciting stuff.
That's right. And, in our kickoff, Cody Arms has been consistently kicking in the ball in the end zone. When it doesn't go in the end zone, it's usually inside the 5, which is great. And then, we got another young kid, Keller Reed, strong leg, plays a lot of soccer. He's a really good soccer player. Really excited to see him kick. He's right behind Cody, pushing Cody. So the same thing, Cody will be going out there as of right now on Tuesday. Cody would go out there the first time we kick off. But, just seeing how practice goes, these young kids are really pushing these seniors, and you got to love that, So.
The greatest thing that I can say in talking to you into this season, you seem like you're having more fun this year. Yeah. I don't want to say you weren't having fun last year, but you seem more relaxed and you just seem like you're having more fun.
I think so. I think last year it was such a, I ain't going to say a learning curve because I did it before, but just, and then dealing with the whole COVID stuff, not getting a spring, abbreviated summer, and then we kind of started off slow, and, I think this year, you just having that year and just knowing, all right, well, if this happens, this is how we're going to handle it, because this is what we did last year, and this either did work or didn't work, type thing. But, you just try to stay positive through it all and understand that. I tell the kids all the time, and I told the coaches Sunday, let's keep what's important important. We was talking about how we're doing the film on the weekend. So, for example, we get done playing Friday night, and we exchange with Gulfport, right? So we have Gulfport film Friday night. And some coaches stay up late Friday night and do our film, and some do it all day Saturday. And I told them, so do it the way you want to, but just make sure you keep what's important important. You got one day at home with your family, so let's make sure we're spending time with our family. I do it late Friday night because my kids are asleep and my wife's asleep. So when I get home, I might stay up 3 o'clock and do it. Then if I don't do that, I wake up first thing Saturday morning before they wake up and do some more. And then I might do some more Saturday night. But I try, I don't always do it, but Saturdays needs to be a family day. And somebody said the other day, do you bring your kids up on Saturday? And I was like, no, they're kids. Just like me and you were talking before we came over, they're 15 to 18-year-old kids. Football is important to them, but they also need some time to be kids, to play whatever the game is now, or to go out there and play pickup basketball, or just go to the movies. So we give them the weekends off. And believe it or not, those kids do a phenomenal job watching film. Like, I can view how much film they're watching, and you would not believe how much film they watch. Now, my wife told me the other day that a couple of them was watching Algebra 2, so I got to get that fixed. They don't need to do that, but it's impressive that they do that, because here's the deal, kids want to be great. They want to be successful. They want discipline. They want organization. They want to do what you ask them to do. But at the end of the day, they're kids, and we got to keep that in mind. And so we're trying to teach them again about a lot more than just football, but yeah, it has been fun, and I look forward to a fun year for sure.
And one final thing that I just want to remind folks, and we've learned it from this past week with everything that's going on with COVID. These are teenagers, and we expect them to play well on the field. Pearl has high expectations. Pirate Base has high expectations week in and week out.
Right.
But adults, this has been tough going through COVID. It's even tougher on these teenagers. And so we have to remember that we don't know what's going on off the field with all of these kids. And so if they're not 100% on a night, they're not perfect. And they may make even more mistakes. It's just important to keep that in mind, right?
That's right. And, I would say just pray for them kids daily. Because they do go through a lot of stuff that people don't even know about, type stuff. So just pray for them guys daily, and that they do right, and, that they are watched over and kept healthy, and their families, so.
Couple of prayers for the coaching staff never hurts either.
That's right. We would appreciate that. We would.
Justin, we wish you guys nothing but success. Safe trip down to Gulfport. And people, if you can't make that 3-hour trip, of course we have Pearl Municipal Broadcasting will be there, and there's so many different ways to watch it. So we're going to get this thing started, whether we like it or not. It's coming.
This is a great broadcast. You will not be disappointed in that. Any which way you watch it. There's so many different ways, and we have several sponsors that you'll see advertisements of, and there's people that are really good to us, good to Pearl football, good to Pearl Public Schools, and
huge sponsor list this year. You got some tremendous support.
People want to help kids, and that's great, and if they want to help, we sure let them help,
All right. Well, we will see you down in Gulfport on Friday.
Can't wait.
All right, folks, don't forget, if you can make it, come on down to Gulfport. It is a bit of a drive, but you will not be disappointed as you get to see the Pearl Pirates. Football season is here. We'll be back with more This Week in Pearl right after this.
I'm Officer Kyle Carmerdale.
And I'm Officer Alfred Jenkins, School Resource Officer with the Pearl Police Department. And our job is to protect students.
Here in Pearl, we have zero tolerance for drivers that break school bus laws. There are 4 things to know. Stop at least 10 feet from the bus when it is loading or unloading. Don't move until kids have crossed the street to or from the bus. The flashing red lights are no longer activated. The stop sign on the side of the bus is retracted.
When we catch you, you get a ticket up to $750, up to a year in jail, or both.
Please pay attention so every student can get to school and home safely.
All right, folks, welcome back into This Week in Pearl. I'm Greg Flynn, and we are now going to head under the dome over at the state capitol and check out what's going on at our state legislature. And we are honored as we have Representative Gene Newman, familiar face to you all, and we're glad to welcome back Representative Fred Shanks. It is extremely, well, we're happy to have you here because there are so many things that are going on that you're going to be able to talk about this time that you haven't been able to address in the past. And one of the reasons why Gene said it'd be a great idea to have you in is that you are the Constitution Committee Chairman, and that has been, a hot topic. You know, back in the day, people were like, the Constitution Committee, they don't have to do anything. The Constitution's the Constitution. But when it came to this whole initiative process, which really, we learned a lot more about the Constitution and what would have happened with the marijuana initiative that was out there. You know, why don't you tell us a little bit about your committee, and then also, you know, the initiative process that you're now tasked with having to tackle.
Okay. In the Constitution Committee, what you've got is any bill that would be related to the state constitution in any way would come to my committee. And to kind of catch your viewers up on the legislative process, if you know, any bill that would go to in the House of Representatives goes to the Speaker of the House, who he presides over us, and then he decides where those bills go. And you know, if anything remotely goes to the Constitution, it'll come to me. And in January, I'll get a list of bills, and I can either take them up or not. And if you don't take them up, then that effectively will kill the bill. And Gene and I both are not going to just open the Constitution just for anything. So there's usually not a lot that goes on in the committee.
Well, because it takes a lot to, you know,
Absolutely.
You're talking about changing the Constitution, right, Gene? You've talked about this many times. It's one thing to add to the law, to the code, to the state code. Mm-hmm. It's another thing to stick something in the Constitution, right?
That's correct. The Constitution is what should guide, underline all the laws. It shouldn't be an operation law. It's about how the laws are written and what they should affect. It guides our whole government, the way it operates, and our courts and everything else. So.
Well, and one of the things why you all are going to be, I think, under the spotlight this time is because, you know, when the courts ruled that, you know, the Constitution, the initiative process is not quite where it needs to be. It was never updated when we lost a congressional seat, and the language is different, that you all are going to have to go in and fix it so that any initiative, whether it's controversial, whether it's, you know, rainbows and unicorns, you know, you've got to be able to fix it so that the initiative process, because right now it's on hold, the initiative process, right?
Correct.
Because it's not, the language isn't right. So
that's correct. Well, one thing to kind of roll off what Gene was saying is if anything gets into the Constitution, it's not coming out. When what you mentioned on the statute process, which is one of the things we're going to be looking at, a statute we can go in see, hey, this is not working out, and we can correct it, or we can change it or tweak it or anything like that. But what happened, obviously the hot topic is medical marijuana, and what happened is we have 4 congressional districts. Previously we had 5, and to get an initiative, it's really not that hard. You come up with your idea. I think you submit it to the Attorney General's office. They offer some guidance, but other than that, it's just gathering signatures. So you have to get 20% of the signatures of the congressional districts. Well, previously that was tasked to the 5 districts and not the 4. So that was why it went to court, and the Supreme Court sided with that, you know, it was correct in that the medical marijuana folks did not have the correct amount of signatures. Right. So real complicated, but it was a signature issue.
So is it a case where, and we're not even going to get into all the initiatives that perhaps have passed since, you know, that were passed and have been put in prior to this. Your task now is to go back and change the language to make it 4 congressional districts?
Correct. So we'll do that. That's we'll have that done next year. There's no immediate, we don't need to do it in a special session. We've got plenty of time to do that. But there's a few things that we're going to look at, and like we mentioned, one of the things we could do is have say if we do 20% signatures on a constitutional amendment, we can do, say, 15% signatures on a statute. And, you know, it'd be easier to get into. We can also do a single subject issues, where if you have one subject, you can't have 10 other people with similar initiatives, and that would kind of cut down on on just, everybody gets their best idea. And then we could insert whether you have a physical statement on the actual petition. And that was one of the issues that a lot of people asked me about when the medical marijuana folks were gathering signatures, on how that was worded, on what were they telling people? Did people know what they were signing when they put their signature down? And I think that was ambiguous, is kind of what I heard. So we could change that a little bit to where they see, well, if we institute this law, it'll cost X, and the people can see that before they sign it.
Well, and I will say that I understand that the political wranglings and, everybody's going to try and word things the way that they want it to go.
Yes.
There's no doubt about that. But if there was some way that you guys could help us out without all the mumbo jumbo, so that when I go in there and I read a ballot initiative, without having you guys up here to help explain me and walk me through what I was voting for the last time we went into the polling place, I had no idea what either one of those things did. You're for this, you're against this, but yet you're really against it, but you're for it. The language, it's just crazy.
Well, this is a simple reality. Almost, well, you can tell by the votes that the majority of the people are for having marijuana as a medicine available to people that would help them. There's a lot of issues, especially cancer and stuff, that folks can get relief from a marijuana. It's what we're told, but that right now they're having to take opioids for, and the opioids is doing as much damage to their bodies as the cancer is. So if this could help people, whether it's epilepsy or whatever it may be, I've heard a lot of different things that it's supposed to help. If it helps them, then we need to figure out a way to do it. But the initiative, the way it was sold to people was this was medical marijuana. That initiative was anything but medical marijuana. It was just wide open marijuana.
And that's what I mean. It's very difficult for the general population because you guys get to work within the framework of that language every single day. And the people that are creating this have a vested interest of whatever initiative it is. They're going to word it the way they want to, not in layman's terms. And it's very difficult, I think, for most everyday folks to go in there and understand, certainly with this issue, what they were voting for, what it meant.
Yeah, when it actually hit the ballot, it was confusing for me. I mean, it really was. But for your viewers' sake, I mean, the medical marijuana, we're very close to actually to finishing that. I think in the next week or two, we'll be in agreement with the Senate and have something to go. So that will happen.
But as a law, not in the Constitution.
Correct. And I keep talking to Representative Yancey. He's kind of spearheading that on our side, and they're real close to doing that. So we'll have something. We'll probably have a special session, which wouldn't take more than a few hours, really, and get that knocked out. But we can clear that language up a little bit. Now, that's something I would like to look on. And one more idea that I had for the whole process is if you had an initiative on the ballot, it fails, have a waiting period of a year, 2 years before you can come back and put that on there. Because what's happened and what happened with the medical marijuana is there was a grassroots component, but it was big cannabis industry who got behind that because there's 6 million reasons why that got on the ballot.
No doubt.
And if we institute something like a waiting period, maybe it would cut down, it would push it back to the citizens instead of these companies coming in.
The biggest thing for folks out there to remember, if you think you didn't go pay attention in history class or your civic social studies, your government class, it's a big difference, and you guys have done a good job explaining it in the past. If you put it in the Constitution, that's the way it has to be. If you put it into law, if something needs to be changed along the way, or as times change, it can be changed.
Correct.
The Constitution's not supposed to be so specific as to say, again, with congressional districts, based on the number of congressional districts, the language should be you need X amount of signatures. It shouldn't state out of the 5 congressional districts, because if we go to 4, we go to 7, it should never be, nothing in the Constitution should be so specific as to really force you to be stuck in a corner, right?
That's correct.
Right.
So we're going to hopefully, I have confidence in you guys. You guys can get it worked out.
We're going to get it handled.
All right, the other hot topic that we're going to be talking about with the legislature, I know Senator Kirby, Representative Newman talked about it last week, is this redistricting. We've got the census numbers back, and now it's time to take a look at where people have moved to, and so that we can have proper representation throughout our state, not only for Congress, but at the legislature.
That's correct. I'm on the joint legislative committee for redistricting, and what we've been doing is the past 2 weeks we've traveled all over the state and we've held public hearings, and that allows the public to come in, say anything you want. You don't even have to talk about redistricting, and you can still get up there and do what you want to, which has happened. And it also, if a citizen wanted to draw up a legislative district or a congressional district, want to draw up the whole map, they can submit it to us, and we can take that into consideration. But we've done that. We finished. Monday was our last meeting. It was at the Capitol, and from here on out, we'll actually be redrawing lines, and then we will be finished with it during 22 session.
You get the final numbers in October, correct?
Yes, at the should be the end of October. We'll have the actual.
Well, what's exciting for us is, you were telling me about the preliminary numbers that we've gotten in for Rankin County and the cities, which is what you base it off of, where are the people living and how do we have to do the districts. Gene, you said that it appears that Pearl has grown
by about 5,000, somewhere in that range. I'm going from memory. My memory is old, so. But I think about 5,000.
Yeah, my district, which has all of downtown Brandon and a little south of there, has grown 7,000. We have 122 House members, so that number will not change. And then the perfect House district number is 24,400 and some change. And we have ability to go 5% over or under that. But one thing that I didn't know is on a congressional district, which we have 4 of, the difference in population between districts is 1 person. We have to.
Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
It's that specific. It's
Wow.
1 voter. Is the difference in the lines.
well, and as we talk about the congressional district, that's where it's going to be interesting, because while Rankin County is certainly growing and just booming, it's those places where you've seen the drop off in population on the western side of the state, specifically the Delta, area, and how that Congressman Thompson, where he currently sits, how that's probably going to have to grow in some
It's got to
capacity.
grow a lot. He's lost 67,000 in his district. So,
And there's nowhere to go but east.
well, no, he's got to go south to pick up the votes.
Maybe
that
closer
he's
down to
gonna need.
Natchez.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
toward
Yeah.
Natchez
Natchez
and
area.
Wilkerson County down in there. He's going to pick that up. The truly sad, going back to Rankin County, the truly sad part about Rankin County is when you look at the number of new housetops that we have, there's no question as to whether or not Rankin County shorted itself by having people not fill out the census. I think we're probably down 10,000 people that weren't counted, and I don't understand why they didn't fill that census out and set it in.
Well, there was a lot, and again, you got to kind of cut some folks a break in these times. This has been when in the middle of this census, we were dealing with smack in the middle of COVID, right. And it's been tough, and I just think that you guys will probably let me know when we do this again in 2030. That you may see the more true numbers, barring another pandemic that's around. But 2030 may be a more representative.
I would think so. And like you said, we've had everything under the sun going on in Mississippi, so that certainly hampered our efforts on the numbers. But there's a lot of now that I'm on this committee, I'm seeing there's a lot of organizations out there who are really beating the bushes with this. So I would definitely think so.
They are exciting times, and I know it's going to be a huge challenge, and I know that, it's a political process. I know there's going to be some banging on the table. There's going to be some hollering, especially when you have to move people's districts around, consolidate, expand, that sort of thing. And that's part of the process, but I guess it's just important to be level-headed about it, right?
Absolutely, and have your boxing gloves with you. That's what I'm calling Gene. He's going to back me up here.
But are you confident that this is going to be I don't want to say a fair process, but hopefully a not contentious process?
I believe it will. Chairman Beckett is really even-headed. He's really good. He's been in the legislature long enough to know how this all operates real well. And of course we own Dean Kirby as the chairman of the Senate side. Those guys working together real well, and there's always going to be a few people get mad because their district's going to get changed to a point that they don't like. But yeah, you got to go where the numbers are. You can't do anything about. You just have to follow the numbers, and that's what you got to do. We just got to make sure we keep Rankin County and with our representation and make sure that we get that extra House member and try to figure out a way to get an extra Senate member.
Well, I always like to close out on some good news, and one of the big messages you sent on our last show was get that vaccine, and the numbers are very encouraging from Dr. Dobbs, Thomas Dobbs over at the health department, that we've seen a boom in vaccines over the last 2 weeks. I believe somewhere upwards of 150,000 new people vaccinated just over the last 2 weeks, and hopefully we're getting control of it.
I hope so, because we're losing too many people, too many good people that's being lost for all they need to do is take a shot. We're seeing too many people who, even if they survive COVID, they have permanent damage to their lungs. They have some people are losing limbs, arms, and legs because of blood clots. We know how bad COVID is. We might not know exactly what the ramifications from this shot's going to be, the vaccination's going to be, but we know how bad COVID is.
Yeah, and I had COVID over a year, same time you did.
Last year.
And I struggled with getting the shot. I was like, well, I've had COVID, so I should be good. And I really struggled with it. Well, about a week and a half ago, I went ahead and got the shot, just because I'm around a lot of people. We travel all over the place and talking to people. So if anybody else is struggling with it, I understand that, because I did the same thing. But now it's like some weights have been lifted. I don't have to worry about it anymore. But I went ahead and did it about a week and a half ago.
Well, that's what I hear from so many folks, and unfortunately, we're all in the club. We've all had COVID. We've talked in the past that we've all been vaccinated, and now that you've had a shot now too. It's just the whole point that the vaccine will keep you out of the hospital. Yep. We're all going to get it again. It's a virus, and we can't avoid it. We're all going to get the variant. It's all going to settle back in, but it's just a question of the severity.
That's absolutely. Gene and I both had a pretty bad round of it, and I'm sure you did too. And I don't wish that on anybody. So anything I can do to lessen the effects of that, hopefully it'll never come again. But if it does, anything that'll prevent any bit of that, I'm for.
Well, anything that'll keep you guys from going virtual again over at the Capitol.
That was terrible. I didn't like that at all. No. I like looking at Gene every once in a while, so I'd rather be downtown.
Well, some very cool things for us to watch as the session gets ready to fire up. Certainly how you're going to fix the initiative process for the Constitution, and then also the redistricting. I think it's things that people need to pay attention to, because your district will change. There's no doubt about it that almost every district in this state is going to change.
Oh yeah, it's going to change somewhat. Either it's going to get bigger, population-wise, it's either grown or not grown. So it's changing one way or the other.
As long as we're keeping this man right over here.
Oh,
for
he's
Pearl,
good.
Right?
He's golden. He's golden.
Now, we don't wish good things to our friends to the east, but at least they'll be able to keep you,
right?
I'm
going to try to hang in there.
One of the things I want to point out is he's the chairman of the Constitution. We have Lee Yancey from Rankin County, who's chairman of drug policy, and we have Brent Powell, who's chairman of
energy.
Energy. And so and then of course we have the pro tem here. We have Josh Harkins, who's chairman of Ways and Means,
finance.
Finance,
very important, yeah.
And then Chris Kaufman, who represents South, is chairman of banking. So, you got me, who just hangs around over there. But
he takes us up a notch.
We have
he takes you to lunch.
And Tom Weathersby, who's chairman of public property.
That's
so
right.
we have consolidated our power over here, and we want to keep it that way.
Yeah. Now I would say Rankin County, I'm biased, but we have the strongest delegation at the Capitol, and we all get along, and we all keep each other posted on things. And we talk every day. All of us do when session's in, and we check in weekly when session's not in. So I would say we are the best organized delegation at the state capitol.
Well, and I will say this, we may fall population-wise below some other areas, but there are 3 areas that are critical in this state. And Rankin County is certainly one of them when you talk about the power brokers. It's DeSoto County,
That's right.
It's Harrison County, and it's Rankin County.
That's right. That's it. We're better than them, but
Of course we are.
But that's right. That's the three. You know, that's it.
Well, you guys are doing a great job. I hope you stay very healthy. We need you healthy for the session. And man, hard to believe it's going to be here.
Oh yeah,
Officially
right
before we know it.
That's right. That's
Well,
right.
thank you guys both for coming in. All right. That'll do it for this segment of This Week in Pearl. Stay with us. We'll be back to wrap things up right after this.
Come find your taste buds at the Lost Cajun. Chef Charles is cooking everything to order. Cajun classics like gumbo, jambalaya, and red beans and rice. Pick your po' boy, shrimp, oyster, roast beef, or maybe gator. Proudly serving USDA farm-raised catfish. When you're done, loosen the belt up a bit for some homemade beignets. Dine in, take out, order online, and get it delivered. Reserve our party room for your group. Find your way to the Lost Cajun in Pearl and Byram.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of This Week in Pearl. Before we go, we want to tell you that you can stay connected with information at any time, several different ways here in the city for you to find out what's going on. First, you can receive text alerts, and all you have to do is text the word Pearl to the number 91896. That's the word Pearl to 91896. You can follow us instantly on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. Simply search the word @PearlGovernment and you can follow us there. And of course, you can find the answers to all of your questions, or most of them. Find phone numbers to all the departments here in the city by going to the City of Pearl website, simply cityofpearl.com. Well, we look forward again to talking to you next time. As you know, Pearl is a great place to live, work, and play, and we are truly the jewel of the crossroads.